So I did one Spider-Man, and then I was like, you know what? That's not enough. Let's do Spider-Man Homecoming as well.
What's up, guys? You forget your PIN number?
Whoa, you're the Avengers! What are you guys doing here?
Where they yet again brought in a different Spider-Man who wasn't Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire.
Does Liz get a new top? No, we've seen that before. Never with that skirt.
Should probably stop staring before it gets creepy, though.
Too late. You guys are losers.
Had to reboot it a third time because the second one bombed horribly. Well, no, it did bomb. It made okay money, and then when stuff doesn't make $1 billion, then companies cancel them.
I think this is probably still to this day. I mean, I love No Way Home, but just in terms of singular solo Spider-Man movies, I think this is still my favorite.
It's the best Spider-Man movie.
It's the best live action one, certainly.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it's the best. I think it's the best Spider-Man movie because I don't think I know where you're going with this. I don't think across the universe. I don't think across the Spider-Verse are Spider-Man movies. I think they're movies, but I think they're movies about Spider-Man. I don't think they're Spider-Man movies.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one. This is a rapid fire. We don't have time to deep dive into this one. But what I will say is that in this one, I do take slight issue in the fact that there's too much Iron Man.
I do agree with that.
I don't love that.
I still don't.
I get what they were going for, but I
hate the tech suit. I will forever hate the tech suit. I hate it. Don't bring it back for Spider-Man 4. Let him have a basic suit. I hate the tech suit.
I hate it in the ones going forward because the end of this one is him rejecting the Iron Spider suit because he's not ready. So then, in my opinion, instead of ending up with the first iteration of the tech suit that he ends up with, that's where he should have ended up with just a normal cloth suit because he's like, I'm not ready for that one yet. I have to go do my own thing before I kind of work up to doing that. And instead they end up with the suit that he had in the beginning, which is still like got 10,000 web shooters in it. It's still too much tech for his first suit.
I just
like
think
they should have like the point in this one was that he wasn't ready for all of that, right? He needed to be an on the ground thing.
Yeah.
So the end of it should have been him in just a normal cloth suit being like, just generally, I don't need your tech right now, Mr. Stark. I'm not ready for it.
To be fair,
and then lead up to him getting that stuff so that when Tony Stark then ends up like dying, then he can get all that tech stuff and have it be like, okay, maybe now I'm ready to begin starting to use it.
The thing is,
and build up to it.
The thing is that at the end of that movie, they're like, oh, no tech stuff, no Iron Spider suit. And then the next movie he's in, he immediately puts it on. So it means literally nothing.
I know.
And he has all the tech going into that. So him having the upgrades, it means nothing. It's meaningless.
I know. That's. I'm saying I don't like that.
So I don't. No tech for Homecoming. He should have had no tech. There should have been no tech in his suit in Homecoming. And then at the end of Homecoming, and the movie should have been about him thinking he needs tech, is what it is. He should have been like, oh, I'm friends with Iron Man. I need Iron Man shit. And then instead of it being Chitauri tech, all of the tech should have been Rogue Stark tech, and it should have been he tries to upgrade his suit and he fucks up. The point where he fucks up should have been him trying to use tech and he finding out he doesn't need it. And then the moral of the movie should have been he doesn't need tech. So then when it comes time to give him the techie suit in Infinity War, that's a big deal narratively because we're like, oh, he's rejected tech. Thanos must be such a big deal. He now needs tech. So then, yeah, this Iron Spider suit is actually cool.
I mean, I agree with most of that. I do think that him having a little bit of tech in this one, wasn't inherently a bad thing because that was the point they were driving at, was that he didn't need the tech. Iron Man very specifically is like, if you're nothing without it, then you're nothing with it kind of thing.
Yeah, but that...
So like him him learning that lesson in this movie isn't bad to me. What's bad to me is then going forward in the next two movies, him having tech anyway undercuts the message that they set up in this one. It should have been he starts with it because Tony thinks that he can upgrade him like any other piece of tech that he has, and he's like, no, this is a person. This is like Spider-Man is like, no, I'm a person. I'm a kid, and ends up realizing he doesn't need the tech, and then going forward doesn't have the
But
tech.
that doesn't work because we've never
It
seen
does.
a
It does
no
work.
because we haven't seen a version of this Spider-Man without the tech. He starts off with the tech. He doesn't start off with nothing. Yes, they say
Exactly.
he
And so
does. But
that's my point.
they,
That's
they,
my point is that it should have been that like Tony Stark is trying to influence him too much,
no,
thinking that he can upgrade him. And no, he doesn't need that
it
upgrade.
doesn't.
And then the point of the movie is Peter learning that no, he's better off without it.
Right, but you can accomplish that without teching him up. You can accomplish that without teching him up in this movie. You can have it where, like I said, you have it where he's trying to tech up. Have it where he does have a basic cloth suit the whole movie,
I
and
don't
he's
think you
trying
can
to tech up. And
I
have
don't
that
think
be
you
the
can
plot
do
of the
that.
movie.
I don't think you can do that because the way that they brought Spider-Man into the MCU was with Iron Man. Because you've attached him to such a techie character, you can't have him start off without tech. You have to have him being brought in by Tony Stark, being teched up, and Peter rejecting it on his own.
No,
That's what you have to do.
you absolutely you can have a mentor without taking him up. You have it. You still have it
Not
where
not not if it's Iron Man.
yes, you have it where Tony still gives him the new cloth suit, and don't have it where it has all the bells and whistles in it. Just
No,
be like
but Tony Stark is never going to do that. Tony
right.
Stark is
But no,
always going to put tech in.
no.
So it
That's,
has it
hold
has
on, hold on, hold on,
it
hold on.
has to be
Let me
Peter
finish.
that rejects it.
Let me finish. Let me finish. You have it where the suit itself doesn't have bells and whistles in it, but it's still high tech. Have it where it's made out of a high tech fiber, or have it where the there's like tech in the goggles because he drew real attention to the goggles and that the goggles were necessary, but they never bring that plot point up or mention it ever again. Have it where like yeah, there's tech in the glasses. Have it where the suit itself is the tech, but it doesn't have additional tech. So have it where it's like, oh, it's made out of like, and then have it where it looks like, basically have it where it starts off where he's still wearing the sweatshirt hooded version of the suit, and the regular Spider-Man suit is have it where Tony's like, oh, it's a high polymer, whatever the fuck, made out of a high tech
You were
lens.
you were never going to get that if you were bringing him in with Tony Stark.
No, but that's the point. Is what I'm saying is you can have it where it's a technologically advanced suit.
Yeah, but
So
Tony Stark doesn't half measure things. He would always have given him the version that he gave him, which is an up the wazoo upgraded version.
again,
The thing that you have to do at that point is have Peter reject it, which they did in the Iron Spider suit. But what I'm saying is that that's not enough. He needed to reject it all
but
and
what
go back to the cloth suit.
no, it doesn't. For me, no tech in that suit works ever. It doesn't work. It completely
The way they
undercuts.
brought him, the way that they brought him in, it always had to be
No,
that.
because you can accomplish what you're saying without tech. You can, and
Yeah, sure, but you can't if you're having Tony Stark be the one that brings him in.
yes, you can because
No,
you could
you
still
can't.
you could still convey the because you could have a high tech suit that's made by Tony Stark that doesn't have bells and whistles in it, and yes, you absolutely
No,
can make it.
no, you can't.
Yes, you can.
No, you
absolutely
can't.
You absolutely
No,
can.
you can't.
You absolutely
no,
can.
You can't. We're gonna have to agree to disagree
You
on
absolutely can because
this.
again
You cannot. Not
again,
with the version of Tony Stark that they have. No, you can't.
yes, you can. You can have
No,
it where
you can't.
you can have it where the tech that he's put into the suit doesn't include the bells and whistles. Like
But it
just-
never would do that. The Tony Stark that they've set up would always put in the bells and whistles. The version that you're talking about doesn't exist.
But he does.
No,
Because-
he
But he
doesn't.
does because you can
No,
absolutely have
he
it.
doesn't. You go
where-
and look at his suit and the fact that he's made 50,000 different suits by Iron Man 3. Yeah, no, he was always
Right.
going to put those bells and whistles in, Justin.
Again, but again, he doesn't have to. That's what I'm saying. Is he
But
doesn't
he
have to.
always would.
No, he
The
wouldn't.
version,
No, he wouldn't.
yes, the version that they made of him would always have put those in. So the way that you needed to do it, if you were going to get to the non-techie side of things, is you have to have Peter Parker reject it.
Again. It just doesn't. Again, that character doesn't work with tech. He never will. He never
You're
will.
right.
He never will.
You're right, and that's why I'm saying they
He never
needed to
will.
be done with it by the end of that first movie.
No, I don't.
That needed to be the point of that movie, is to show up and set up that he doesn't need the tech. So
Right,
you
but
needed to have it basically follow the same plot line where he gets to the point where Tony is like, if you need, like, if you aren't anything without it, then you're not anything with it. Takes it away, and that's it. Peter doesn't
or
get it back.
or conversely, you make it where, I mean, how, again, you can absolutely do it where Tony Stark does it nuts and bolts it up. You have it where he's basically like, the whole point of the movie is you're not me. Like, that's why he would. You absolutely, because that is the point. That is the point of that movie in its concept, is that Tony Stark is like, you need to stay to the. I mean, ultimately,
Yeah,
him balancing
exactly.
out
And
things
so that's why
but
that's why I'm saying
it doesn't.
he ends up taking the suit away in the movie for that exact reason.
Right.
So they always needed to have him start in that suit so that he could lose the suit, so that he
But
could learn that he doesn't need the suit. That's the overarching
what
message
I'm
of the
what I'm
movie.
saying though
So
is
then I'm saying that instead of them giving him back the suit and completely undercutting their own message, they needed to not do that.
right, but you can still accomplish what the lesson you're trying to teach without the tech. You can accomplish that.
Not with that version of Tony Stark
Yes,
being the one that brings him in.
right, but you can. No, yes, you can, because you can make it
No,
where
you can't,
you
Justin.
keep cutting me off before you let me finish. You can, because all you do is you just have it where that's the point, where you have it where Tony Stark did it bells and because it him putting in bells and whistles undercuts and undercuts his message in that movie. If his message was that he wanted Peter to be a down to earth, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, why did he put the bells and whistles in there in the first place? And if you're gonna be like, hold on, let me finish. If you're gonna be like, oh, he put the training wheels protocol on there for when he was ready, don't put the tech in there in the first place, then you wouldn't need a training wheels protocol. So what I'm saying is the point of the movie could be that Tony Stark is like, I could have upgraded you. I could have put bells and whistles in there, but I chose not to because I want you to be a down to earth, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Hold on, let me finish. And the point of the movie could be, instead of having it where Ned helps him break the training wheels protocol, you have it and instead of having it be, and this would also fix another major issue with your movie, which is timeline, right? There's that whole, like, he's stealing Chitauri tech. Have it where he's stealing, and it conflicts with the climax of that movie of them breaking into a Stark tower. Have it where he's robbing Stark tech. Have it where the all this shit is coming from Stark tech, and Peter tries to upgrade the suit and tries to add the bells and whistles himself and tries to turn it into an Iron Man suit, and he fucks up and it blows up in his face, like in the boat section. Instead of having it where he fails to whatever, have it where he tries to make an Iron Man suit and it fails, and then same lesson, Tony Stark shows up and is like, clearly you're not ready to be a superhero, and still takes the suit, and you still learn the lesson. Like, you could still teach the lesson, and it would be believable, and it still matches up with the version of the character that exists in that movie.
May I speak now?
Yes.
The reason why they can't do that is because they are also giving Tony Stark an arc in this movie, and the thing is that the version of Tony Stark that you're describing is the version that we see in Endgame, which is the version where he's learned the consequences of his actions at that point and has learned how to be a parent. He's not a parent in this. He's not treating Peter like a kid. He's treating him like a colleague. He's treating him like an equal.
But he's not.
And
But he's
yes,
not.
he is.
But
Yes,
he's not.
he is.
No,
Yes,
he's not.
he is.
Then why put
Yes, he
No,
is.
he's not. He's treating him like a
Yes,
kid.
he is.
He's not
No,
treating him
he's
like a
not.
colleague. That's the whole
He's
point of that
not
movie.
treating him like a kid. He's treating him like an employee, like a person that's
He's
an intern.
Absolutely not. You're completely
Yes,
misreading
he
it.
is.
No, he's
Yes,
not.
he is.
That.
Yes, he is.
Then why put the training wheels protocol on there, Jordan? Why put
Because
the
he's an intern.
No, he put the training wheels protocol. Why call it the training wheels
He's
protocol?
he's viewing him as an intern
No.
would, someone who's training to be in the position that you're in.
You put training
Yes,
Jordan. You put training wheels on a child's bicycle. On a
Right,
child's
but
bicycle.
but the point that I'm making is that at this point in the timeline, he doesn't know how to be a dad. He didn't have a dad. He's doing what he thinks a dad would do, but he's not a dad.
Right,
Whereas by the time we get to the end game part, he is in that father role because he actually has a kid.
But
So he would never, at that point, he would never put the tech in. But at this point, he does.
No, but again, no, but whether or not he does put the tech, what I'm saying is for the purposes of this film,
He wouldn't do what you're describing.
He
He's
would,
not
though.
at that point. No, he wouldn't.
He would.
No, he wouldn't.
He
No,
would.
he wouldn't.
Yes, he would.
He's not at that point in his timeline.
He absolutely is.
No,
Well,
he wouldn't.
no, okay. He is. He is for how they are portraying him in this movie. He is absolutely treating Peter like he's a child. He's not giving him. He's not giving him the respect, because if he wasn't treating him like a child, he would have given him, or he did see him as a colleague, or he did see him as an employee. He would have given him the consideration and respect to communicate to him, but he doesn't. He dismisses him constantly because he sees him as a child. He sees him as a kid who is not ready for the responsibilities of being a superhero, of being an Avenger yet. That's why he has the training wheels are typically put on a child's bicycle. So he thinks of him as a child.
Sure, he thinks of him as an intern who is a part of their company. He's still thinking in terms of business.
No,
Yes,
not.
he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he
He's
is. That's why
absolutely not.
yes, he is. That's why by the end of it, he's willing to actually bring him. He wasn't lying about there being press people behind the door. He was going to bring him on as a full-on member of the Avengers and upgrade him from being an intern to a full member.
Absolutely, but
He
regardless,
does not think of him as a child.
Yeah,
he thinks of him
does.
he thinks of him as an intern.
he calls him the kid. He says the kid.
Yeah, he thinks
the kid.
That's what you would
kid.
call an intern.
No, he absolutely sees
Yes.
him. You're right. He doesn't see him. He doesn't see him. No, see, that's the thing is you're not differentiating the idea of seeing him as his son versus seeing him as a kid. Yes, you're right. By the end of Endgame, he absolutely sees Peter Parker as his son. But at that point, no, he treats him as though he's a teenager, as though he's a stupid kid.
Yeah, he treats him like an intern.
No, like a kid. He treats him like
Like
a
an
kid.
intern.
A kid.
Like an intern.
A kid. You're splitting
Like
hairs.
an
The
intern.
point is, no, you
A
don't.
a person who is training to fill the position
point-
that you will eventually put him into.
The point is, though, what you're saying can absolutely with the ideas that they're trying
The
to convey.
training wheel program
You can
is a
accomplish
snarky. Tony Stark is a snarky character. Training Wheels program is a snarky Tony Stark way of saying training. Like he's training him.
He absolutely, the tech did not need to be there. You could accomplish the same story with the exact same story beats.
I disagree.
You can absolutely accomplish it without the tech.
If it's with Tony
Spider-Man
Stark.
should have never had tech. Like that is
Not if it's with Tony Stark.
Absolutely. And there's plenty of, and the point is, by the time it's not an upgrade, if it begins, there's nowhere for it to go if you start with tech. Right? There's no way for.
That's why I'm agreeing with you that by the point where he loses it in the movie, he needs to lose it and shouldn't get it back. I'm just saying, in order for that point to have punch, in order for him to have lost something, he needed to have something.
The only way your version of the story works,
and then it makes it more impactful when 3 movies later he has earned the right to have it.
It has no impact because we've never seen a Spider-Man without tech in this universe.
Yes, we would have, because then in the second and third movie he wouldn't have tech.
No, but the point I'm making, Jordan, is you're missing the point. The point is, in order for him having tech to work narratively, there needs to be a moment in the narrative where he doesn't have tech, and he begins.
No, there doesn't.
Yes, there does.
No, there doesn't, Justin, because
yes,
the point of the first movie could have been that he's not ready for it.
But
the training wheels get taken off, and he doesn't know what he's doing.
Again,
so no, the point is that he didn't have tech at that point, and he got it before he was ready, and then he has it taken away.
But again, we've never seen
it works perfectly well.
But it doesn't, because we've never seen a Spider-Man.
You're starting to piss me off.
Again, you've never seen a Spider-Man without tech in this universe. You've never seen a Spider-Man without tech.
Exactly, and so he fails with it the second that he has it.
No, but there's no point of reference to him not having it, right? We never see a regular version of Spider-Man in this universe. We never see a regular version. We only ever see the Tony Stark. The reason why Tony Starked up version of Spider-Man works in the comics is because you've had 20 years of Spider-Man just being regular Spider-Man. That doesn't happen here. You're letting your knowledge of your pre-existing knowledge of your character impact your knowledge of the movie. The movie is taking advantage of the fact that you know that Spider-Man's not supposed to have tech, right? It's taking advantage of that. But within the context of the universe, the character doesn't know that. We don't know that. We've never seen this version of Spider-Man without tech. So to see him get upgraded it's meaningless because it's not an upgrade. It's just the default state of the character. So what I'm saying is Spider-Man is not a techie character. The only time it ever works with Spider-Man is that the only version of a teched up Spider-Man that works is the one in the Marvel games. And that's because he's been Spider-Man for 10 years and he's earned that. He's earned having those gadgets. This Spider-Man hasn't. And so it just doesn't work. The narrative story device of being like, oh, he's not capable of having these gadgets doesn't work, because if there was a previous Spider-Man movie where he didn't know Tony Stark, then this would work. But it doesn't work because he begins from a point of privilege and you never see him lack that privilege. Is my point.
But for me, okay. It does work because Tom Holland portrays a young Spider-Man. If you had it where it was an Andrew Garfield or a Tobey Maguire and he appeared to be older, then you're right, it wouldn't work. But he comes across as a young, inexperienced kid, and if you had worked it a little bit where whenever he tries to use the tech, he's bad with it, then yes, I think it absolutely would have worked. The way they did it, it didn't work.
But again,
But I disagree. I think there is a version of this where it is workable,
No.
especially if you have it where halfway through the movie he has it taken away and he goes back to being the techless Spider-Man, and then you make it in the movie where he's stronger as a result of it and he's better at it. Then yes, I absolutely think that gets the point across that he is stronger without the tech than he is without, or than he is with it.
A young Spider-Man.
I think you're quite frankly biased in the other direction. You're not willing to even entertain a world where this works because you hate it.
No, it doesn't work.
So this is a pointless conversation.
It doesn't work in this movie. There's no version of this movie that
Yes,
there's no
there
version of
is.
this universe that works with the techie Spider-Man. It just doesn't.
Yes, there
no,
is.
Okay, no, that's not true.
The one that I've described does work.
No,
maybe it doesn't work for you because you're biased. But it works.
The only version of a teched up Spider-Man that works in this universe with the way they've constructed it is if they did a Spider-Man movie previously where he was just goggles, sweatshirt Spider-Man.
Again, you're completely ignoring everything that I've said.
No, because it doesn't work.
Yes, it does work.
No, because again,
you need to be clear here. It doesn't work for you.
It doesn't work in this movie.
But it does work.
Not in this movie.
Yes, it does.
No.
Yes, it does.
Because again, we've never seen a previous version of Spider-Man.
We don't need to.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
In order to make the point that
Justin.
Yes, especially if it's a.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree.
Especially if it's starting.
We could talk about this for hours.
But
we have to agree to disagree.
Hold on, let me finish. Even if you come from a starting point, if this is meant to be, that's the question of this, right? Is this meant to be a starting point, a new starting point for this franchise? It's the same thing of in Batman versus Superman having a Batman who kills. It doesn't work in that universe because you've never seen a version of a Batman that doesn't kill. So it's taking for granted that you know, as an audience member, that Batman doesn't kill. But the movie has not, and the universe itself has not articulated that this version of Batman has never killed. It's the same thing with Spider-Man. They've never demonstrated that there's a version of this character that can be competent without tech. So the minute you introduce him as being that, it doesn't work. It works if there's a first movie where he's in a regular Spider-Man suit and we upgrade. It's why the tech doesn't work moving forward, because he began his life as a teched up character. It's why it doesn't work. So ultimately, the notion of him being teched up doesn't work here. Like if it would work, if in Endgame, Tony Stark gave him the Iron Man suit and he hadn't been, or if it worked where he wasn't teched up this entire movie and he was trying to be teched up, and the entire point of it was he couldn't tech himself up properly, and then at the end Tony Stark gives him the Iron Spider suit or offers it to him and he goes, oh no, I don't actually need this, I've discovered that I'm good enough on my own, then the lesson lands harder. Like, you're right, it is a sort of retroactive thing of like going forward, it doesn't work going forward, but the starting point is flawed. The starting point of having him be teched up from the beginning is flawed. Now, if you want to do it where he begins,
that's where I say my version does work. Where you have it where he's wearing it like he is in this, he unlocks the training mode and he's really bad at it, just like he is in this. You have it where he's not able to use the tech, like not able to. to the point where like you have a scene with him where he's with a common criminal and the common criminal gets away because he cannot use the tech. You avidly display that he is not able to use the tech,
God, I,
so that then when he loses the tech and goes back to being in a normal suit, you have multiple scenes where he is then competent and good and able to do his job and doesn't need the tech. And then going forward at the end of the movie, he's offered the tech full time and he rejects it, going like, no, no, Mr. Stark, I actually discovered along the way that I was
no.
better without the tech. And then he going forward in the next movies does not have the tech.
I don't.
It absolutely works. You just don't like it.
It just doesn't. Him having the tech from maybe if it's a thing of like he gets tech midway through the movie and it
You're
improves
not
the suit.
listening to me.
I am.
The
It
point,
doesn't.
the point is that he starts the movie with it on the training wheel program where he doesn't have any of the tech. Like he doesn't. It's just
No,
in
'cause
the suit,
it's
and he doesn't have access to it. And then he unlocks it and is bad with it, and goes back to not using
because
it.
that's what.
It absolutely works,
But
Justin.
no, because that's the same. That what you're describing is what already happens in the movie. That is literally exactly what happens. He discovers he doesn't know that there's a training wheels program.
No,
He
it's not
discovers
what
it.
happens.
He fails with it.
At the end of it, he continues to use the way to advance suit.
No, but what I'm saying is
I'm saying no, none of that. He
what you're-
doesn't do that.
But what you're saying is it's the same thing except for at the end he rejects the tech, which he theoretically does anyway because he's like, oh,
No,
I'm
he
too.
doesn't.
Well, no, because the
He
end of
does.
that movie.
Doesn't reject it. He still gets that suit back and he ends up putting it back on. That's not rejecting the tech. Rejecting the tech would be he ends up in the suit that he ends up in at the end of No Way Home, where it has no tech and it's just cloth. That's rejecting the tech. That's what I'm saying. He ends the movie in that suit, and going forward in the next movies, that's the suit he's in, so that by the time we get to the end of Endgame, where he maybe starts to have technology, it actually means something because perhaps he has built it himself.
Yeah, it's just no. There's no version of
Oh,
him. There's no version of him.
It would work had he actually rejected the tech.
I think it works better if the suit starts from a place of being techless, and he.
I mean, sure, but I'm working under the assumption that he's being brought in by Iron Man,
I am
and that's
too.
not gonna happen.
Again, in all the ways that I
No,
described it,
it won't,
absolutely
Justin.
would. If you bring
No,
it in, hold
not
on.
not with this version of
Yeah,
Iron Man.
if you bring it in and you make it where the entire idea of the suit is that it is technologically advanced. Like you have it where that's where Tony Stark's ego is. You have it where it is technologically advanced. It just doesn't have like instant kill mode or like 1,000 web shooter options or like
That
or
wouldn't
like
happen.
I mean, look, I'm willing to accept a heads up display. Like I'm willing to accept a heads up display, but none of the like again. I'm not saying it can't be tech. I'm saying no bells and whistles, no bells and whistles, and no
That was
access.
never going to happen.
Yes, it absolutely could happen. It
No.
could. Whether or not it would or would not, it could happen with that version of
No.
that character. Yes, it could because
No, it couldn't.
You're right. The suit building is a display of ego for Tony Stark, so it doesn't have to be. Again, it having all those bells and whistles in there. And then the point of the movie being him being like, you're not ready for this. Why put them in there? Because if it was anything of
because it's Tony Stark and he's 90% ego.
no, but what I'm saying is
He hasn't learned the lesson yet.
No, but if he's trying to teach a lesson, he could have added them later. Like he could have put in those features later.
He could have,
right?
but this version of Tony Stark was never going to do that.
No, but again, I'm working with what's in the script, right? And this is what they want this character to do, and it doesn't work with how they've set it up. The storyline that they're trying to do doesn't work with the version of the character. With if you prefer, your idea of the character doesn't mesh with how he's written in this movie. If you prefer, if you want to say that Tony Stark is written badly in the movie, fine. I will agree with you. But the version as he is written in that movie, it does not make any sense for him to add bells and whistles, and it makes the movie worse. It makes that character worse, and it doesn't make any sense for that. And I'm not. I think we both know I'm not against teched up Spider-Man because I love the Marvel version. That's the most ideal version. Spider-Man should never start from having tech. He should start from nothing. And they want to shortcut
Yeah,
it.
you're right. But they brought him in using Tony Stark, so he was always going to be teched up.
No, but again,
That's what this version of Tony Stark does.
I think we need to differentiate because your version of teched up is not the same version as me. Like clearly, What I'm saying is not that he shouldn't be not teched up. No bells and whistles. That's the difference. You can be teched up and not have bells and whistles. That's what I'm saying. And he
Sure,
is. He is.
but
He is for the first half of this
if
movie.
Tony Stark is making the weapons, making the suit, he's absolutely going to put the bells and whistles in.
No, because again,
Yes.
no, he wouldn't, because it doesn't.
Yes, he would.
It conflicts with the idea of what he's trying to accomplish in this movie. It doesn't make any sense for him to put in the bells and whistles and then put a block on them. It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. It's illogical. If you were just going to block him from having this anyway, why put in those options for him to discover? I mean, I know why. It's to create conflict in the movie, but it doesn't make any sense. And you can still have that conflict that they want, which is him discovering that he's not ready for Iron Man tech. By, like I said, just
I mean,
changing
you want an in-universe reason? It's a test. He knew that he would be able to hack it, and he wanted to prove that, or he wanted Peter to prove that he wouldn't.
No, I mean, honestly, the in-universe thing is he didn't think Peter. He didn't. It's all part of the whole theme of it, which is that Tony Stark is not taking Spider-Man seriously or respecting him, or at least Spider-Man is perceiving that. I get what they're going for. I'm just saying it doesn't work with the version of the character that they've written. It just doesn't.
I disagree.
And it's accomplishable. That's my thing. It only requires a slight tweak, and it's fixable.
Yeah, the one that I gave.
No, again. No.
Yes.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't work because.
Yes, it does.
And it's just
With the version that I gave. Yes, it does.
No, because again.
Yes, it does.
Him having him.
We could go around and round in circles on this, Justin. We don't have all day. My version works.
But it doesn't. It doesn't work.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't work.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't
yes,
work.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. What's your next pick?
I mean, or if you prefer mine's better.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. What's your next pick?
Okay, or if you prefer mine's better.
Yes, it does. What's your next pick?
But here's the thing that drives me crazy though is mine is what we both want. We want all the tech out of that boy's suit. So I don't understand why you're fighting me on this.
Because I'm trying to create a version within the realm of what they would have actually done.
No, again, what I want is accomplishable with the version of the character they have.
Sure, but it's not what they were going to do.
But again,
they were always going to put the tech in because he was brought in by Iron Man.
But my
and
point is,
they, regardless of what we wanted, they wanted to highlight that and bring them closer together so they could have Iron Man show up in this Spider-Man movie.
Right, but my point is they can still do that and have him be techless.
But they were never going to, so it's a moot point.
No, but it's not a moot point. It's not a moot point.
Yes, it is.
It's not a moot point.
So I'm trying to fix the movie based on the elements that we already have. Yes, it is fixing the movie.
No, it's not, because the problem is still there. He still has tech. That's the problem.
Right, but by the end of it, he loses it, and he becomes the Spider-Man we love.
Right, but you're
having learned the lesson that tech is not for him. He's not Iron Man.
We could still learn the tech. We could still learn the lesson with a version of Iron Man that is consistently written, with a version that is in the movie currently that is consistently written. And again, my point is
we couldn't.
Yes, you can.
The version that we have in the movie would always have put the bells and whistles in.
No, he wouldn't. No, again, no,
yes,
he would not. No,
yes, he would.
No, I'm saying the version of Iron Man that you're talking about would, but the version as he's written in the movie, it doesn't make any sense for him to. It doesn't. It doesn't.
It absolutely does.
It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
It absolutely does.
It doesn't. If the lesson is to teach him that he's not ready, there are better ways to do it. And what's frustrating, the reason why this is frustrating me.
But Tony's an idiot.
But the thing that's frustrating me is my way is the way we both want. I don't understand why you're fighting me on this. It's what we both want. We both want the tech out of it, and it's completely logical, and it completely makes sense, and it's completely doable.
It doesn't work with the version of Tony that they have created it in the MCU.
Well, but it does. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It absolutely does. Especially consistent with the version of Tony they set up at the end of Civil War, which is that he's the one who is like taking responsibility and wants to manage everything. So yeah, it makes sense that he would put in he
also doesn't want to watch another kid die, so he wants to give him as much tech as he can and put an armor around the world. Right,
but that conflicts with him being, you're not ready to be an Avenger. Again, that conflicts with the idea that he thinks that Spider-Man isn't ready.
Yeah, the point is supposed to be that he's trying to be a dad and he has no idea how to do it.
But again, you can have it where it's like, you can have it where instead of
So his first instinct is to have the gun in the bedside, like the bedside drawer, when really that's not the best thing. He wants to put 15,000 guns in Peter's armor when he doesn't need it. He
yeah.
was always going to put his armor around the world.
No, doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. And the thing that's
It
frustrating,
doesn't.
man,
I want to be clear here. It doesn't work for me
and
either.
it's fixable.
But
That's
I'm
my thing.
trying. But I'm trying to fix the thing that we
Yeah,
got,
yeah, but
not make a new thing that doesn't
yeah,
exist.
but I'm also fixing the thing we got, and I'm fixing it
No,
in a
you're
way.
no,
I
you're
am.
not.
It is completely fixable.
The thing we got is a Spider-Man movie where he had tech. You're not fixing that. You're just getting rid of the tech.
Yes, but
That's not.
that's
That's not
fixing it.
fixing.
Fixing it is
That's
getting rid
not.
of the
That's
tech.
not. That's not working with the constraints that we are finding ourselves in,
No,
which is that he has tech.
the constraint is to leave it largely the same movie and cut out the tech. I'm saying we could
Yeah,
it would
but
be
but
the
you
exact
can't.
same. But no, the thing I am trying to do. That's the thing that I don't get here is we don't want the tech. Why are you trying to keep in the tech? We don't want the tech. The
Because
purpose of
I
the
think you need.
exercise.
Because I think the character needs to learn that he doesn't need the tech.
No, but okay.
So you need to have him have the tech so that by the end of the movie he learns that he doesn't need the tech.
That's why I'm not dropping this because you're not listening to me. I have created a version of this in which he still learns the lesson that he doesn't need the tech without the
Sure,
tech.
but he was never going to have a suit that Tony Stark built that didn't have tech.
No, but he could. No, but again, you're splitting hairs on what is tech. I'm not even talking about just tech. It could be a technologically advanced suit. It can be. Absolutely. It could have tech in it. It could the goggles could have mechanics in it. The skin could be like state of the art fucking polymer latex suit that like adheres to his skin perfectly. Like yeah, that's fine. That's what like yes, absolutely Tony Stark would like for example in Batman Begins. That is technically a technologically advanced suit, but he's not shooting batarangs out of he doesn't have an HD, you know what I mean? Like that's the type of shit I'm talking. He doesn't have an AI voice. Like that's the type of shit I'm talking about. I'm not talking
Yeah,
about
but Tony Stark was always going to put that in.
but again, narratively you can write it where he wouldn't and it would totally make
No,
sense.
you can't. Not with the version
Yes.
that they have of him.
Yes, you can because again,
No,
this is
you
how this is
can't.
what I mean when I say you're not listening. You're not listening to me because because the notion of Tony Stark is that he wants to make something technologically advanced that he can brag about, and he still can do that without putting the extra shit. There's too much extra shit. Like that's the point here, and the story still works without the extra shit. And then you can make it where the point of the movie is he keeps trying to add the extra shit. Like he's trying to add a Jarvis. He's trying to add a Karen. He's trying to add like the 1,000 types of webs. And he's trying to add that onto a suit that doesn't have that. And that's the point of it. So that when we get to Iron Man, then he does get Karen. He does
Sure.
get that stuff.
But the
That's
studio
the stuff I'm
exec,
talking about.
the studio execs were never going to let that happen. They always were going to look at it and go like, he's not Iron Man enough.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying what I'm talking about.
So I'm trying to fix the movie that the studio execs are demanding will happen. He will have those bells and whistles. The point is that he needs to lose it by the end of the movie and not get it back.
I mean, I don't disagree. Obviously, I don't disagree with that. What I'm saying, see that I think that's where we need to, and then I promise we'll wrap this up. This has gone on for way too long, but it's been a fascinating conversation.
The end result that we both want is the same. We
Yes.
want him to not have the suit. It's the hero's journey that he takes to get there that we are differentiating and splitting hairs on.
I just think it's accomplishable. It's not that I think it is accomplishable. You can accomplish the same story, identically the same story, just by changing a few minor details and remove the tech out of that.
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. I agree. The writers absolutely could and probably did write a version that was like that. But the studio execs that want him to be like Iron Man so that they can bank off the fact that he's like Iron Man, we're never going to let that happen.
Here's my final point on it. You hate that he's Iron Boy? My version fixes that while keeping it exactly the same movie. Like, I didn't even change the bad guy. Like, the scenes are identical. All it is instead of being Chitauri gear, it's Iron Man tech. And
that's why I say,
it fixes a shit ton of plot holes in that movie.
I don't disagree with you, and there's definitely ways that you could write it. You and I have sat down and written out other much more broken franchises before. So absolutely, especially with the power of hindsight, it is fixable. but I'm trying to largely keep it the same
No.
and still make it fun.
I mean,
And
mine is exactly the same. It's just he
it's
doesn't
it's
have the
it's
bells and
not
whistles.
because it's not because you are changing the fundamental nature of what Tony Stark is.
I'm not though.
But you are.
I'm not changing
You
the
are.
fundamental nature
You
of Tony
are.
Stark at all.
You are.
I'm not.
You are.
I'm not.
You
Because
are.
he's still making a
Because
tech.
he was always going to put in those bells and
No,
whistles.
he was always going to make a
Yes.
technologically advanced suit
He
that
was
showed off.
always going to put in those bells and whistles.
No, especially if
Yes, he would.
again, no, especially if the point of
Again,
this movie is that he
yes.
thinks he's a kid, right? No, it doesn't. All the like instant kill mode that doesn't make any sense. It
That's
doesn't
why
make
it was
any
on
sense.
training wheels mode.
Right, but it doesn't make any sense for him to put
So the point
instant
that he
death
then
mode and
hacks
then
into and gets access to shit that he is not ready for and fails at, has it taken away and doesn't get the suit back,
right, but
works.
right, but that all those modes are in there to facilitate him getting to having the suit taken away, so he learns the lesson that he needs to be regular Spider-Man. You can still teach that lesson by having it be where he's trying to build his own Iron Man suit. He's trying to turn his Spider-Man suit into an Iron Man suit. So then he learns that he doesn't need that stuff. He still learns that
See,
lesson of having to not
when
need
does
that
this
stuff.
when did this takes place just after Civil War? If this was before Civil War and Captain America and them were still around, then yes, I absolutely see a version of this movie where Iron Man goes to puts the bells and whistles in, and Captain America's like, "No, Tony, he's not ready for that yet." And we get that version that you're talking about, where it's a more restrained version, still built by Tony Stark, but without the bells and whistles. If he has a voice of conscience, absolutely, I
Here,
see that version.
here's the
But
thing, though.
with
I don't
with
blame.
him being off the rails and not having anybody to talk him down,
Here's the thing,
no,
though,
Tony Stark
and
wasn't going to put those
here's the
in.
thing, and here's the thing. Those bells and whistles not in Civil War.
I mean, they might have been. He didn't hack the suit.
Right, but no, he did have the suit. He gets the suit in that
I
movie.
said, I said he didn't hack the
No, but
suit.
he had some
He didn't.
bells.
He didn't. He didn't. He didn't get all those bells and whistles until he hacked the
No,
suit.
but he had some of the bells and whistles at the start.
Not all of them.
No, but he had some of them.
Yeah, but not all of
No,
them.
but my point is there are no bells and whistles
Like
in
he
Civil
didn't. Like
War.
he didn't have the suit lady until he hacked the suit.
No. But you're missing my point. My point is in Civil War there are no bells and whistles. So your point that Tony Stark would never. We must assume that unless otherwise stated, there are no bells and whistles other than your basic web shooters.
No, we must assume that they do have them and that they didn't have time to show them because it wasn't a Spider-Man movie.
This is the ultimate problem with the Spider-Man movies is they're all written by different people, and so he's a different character movie to movie.
You're not wrong.
He's a completely different character movie to movie. So the version of him that the Russo and it's not helped by the fact that like the John Watts and the Russo brothers wrote him completely differently, and he's in two Russo brother movies and three Russo brother movies and the three John Watts movies. So it's like they're written completely differently. So yeah, clearly the Russo brothers saw it our way and we're like, yeah, it's just a regular Spider-Man suit. Like that, it's just a regular Spider-Man suit. And then John Watts was like, he needs to be Iron Man because that makes sense the most narratively, and he's wrong. All that to go back to the point of I still think this is the best Spider-Man movie. That's the one small thing I would change about it. It's still objectively the best one. I know I just did a bunch of negative shit about how much I hate.
We just did like a 30-minute or 40-minute rant on this. This will make for great long-form content.
Absolutely, yeah.